Welcome back to the Bruce Poinsette Show. I got a special guest to my right here, man behind it all, Mr. DJ Ambush.
Man, it's a pleasure to be here. I've been watching this show from the rafters, from some low lit areas. Some might call them caves, caves where bats dwell. And it's been really, really good. It's been really cool. It's been amazing. It's been a great show. I'm honored to be involved.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you here. That may or may not change in like 2 minutes, but
this is gonna be a messy one.
This is gonna be an ongoing another ongoing segment, the Blurred-tastic Adventure. If you're familiar with my other show, which goes on the numbers every 7 p.m. every first and third Wednesday, the Black-tastic Adventure. It's a little spin-off. But basically, something magic has happened in some of the pre-production processes.
Oh yeah,
we've been through here, where I'm in the studio, Ado's in the studio, Ambush is in the studio, and for those who are unfamiliar, we like nerd stuff. We really do. So there's some very epic,
unapologetically,
some very epic, blurty conversations, and with the recent release of The Batman, we had to talk about it. But first, to get the controversial point out of the way and set the table, because we're going to talk about our general thoughts about the movie, but I have a general theory on Batman. Keep in mind, this is one of my favorite characters. But also, if you want to understand the construct of the white man in America, study Batman. It is a masterclass in just the way, like, the white man approaches problem solving. You have this billionaire who could solve all the problems in Gotham with the money, and he does a little bit of philanthropy here and there to keep a low profile, but instead he dresses up at night, spends God knows how much money on military grade gadgets, and beats up mostly poor henchmen just trying to get by in a city that he also happens to be starving of resources.
Wow. Incendiary.
But we'll get back to the Batman theory in a bit. Let's start off on the niceties. Like, Ado, Ambush, what'd you think about the movie?
Well, we waited quite some time for it. There was a lot of build up. A lot of teasers, a lot of leaks. I'm gonna be honest, I got tired. I got kind of teaser and leak fatigue. But when the trailer started dropping, like, I didn't sit through DC fandom to see all the I'm not doing that. But when the trailer started dropping, I really started seeing what the picture was gonna be. Like, oh yeah, I got amped right back up. And then I did see opening weekend. Me and MJ went to go see it. We caught an 11 o'clock show on a Sunday morning at Lloyd Center, and maybe 30 people in the theater. So, I mean, I don't want to say it's safe to go back to theaters. Everyone go rushing in, because then you'll make it unsafe for me. But just know, if you are one of these people where it's like, I gotta see this in the theater, there are opportunities to be really selective and make sure your experience is a lot, safer than you would anticipate. I wish I would have been able to see Dune in the theater, Tenet in the theater, things like that. But no, this was amazing. I remember directly after seeing it telling Ado that this was a film for Batman fans. Did it need to be 3 hours if you're not a Batman fan? No. But for us Batman fans, it could have been 6 hours, because the way Matt Reeves pulled from comic books, graphic novels, cartoons, previous films, like the way he weaved so much of Batman's storyline and the mythology and the mythos into this one world that he created, which happens to be on Earth too, is amazing. It was amazing. You're just seeing so many different Easter eggs and just different nods to everything that is, Gotham and the Batman. Like, prime example, when we were introduced to the Batmobile, the roar of that engine and just the way that it was just like, okay, it is time. It's go time. Yeah, it's great. I love the film. I loved it. Ready to go see it again and again.
Just real quickly, I'm gonna veto that 6 hours. Like, I enjoyed the film, but Do we want to extend that scene of Catwoman and Batman just riding on motorcycles for like a whole like 3 minutes, just interweaving? I don't know what's happening here.
Well,
is this going to be their relationship? I can't tell. Okay. No, I gotta save the disagreement for the
no,
substance.
you don't. We'll make it through all of it. I'm a really good guest. You'll see.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Ado, what did you think of the movie?
I left the movie very pleased. I think Ambush, you made a lot of very good points. This is a movie for Batman fans. It's also a crime film, which I really appreciate, which I feel like we haven't gotten from Batman like as often. I feel like it's a mystery. I think if you're going in, everyone knows who the Riddler is and like what the Riddler is doing. But I think seeing Batman be able to solve the mysteries of the Riddler was really interesting and really cool. I don't know if we're supposed to be talking about spoilers.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
There will be spoilers in this conversation.
Yeah,
Great.
if you haven't seen the movie, don't watch an analysis of it.
Yeah. Go see it. I might add an editor note because I'm going to go see it again this evening.
Nice.
So I might come
Oh,
back.
wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So I might come back. I might, if I'm adding an editor note, I'll add it now of me saying my other opinions. But I left really happy. I love Robert Pattinson as Batman. I love Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. I love, who's the actor who played Gordon?
Jeffrey Wright.
Jeffrey Wright as Gordon
Yeah.
might be my favorite Gordon ever.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Penguins goated. Oh, Falcone. Can we talk about really quick? I'm forgetting the actor who plays Falcone, but he deserves a good part like this because he was in the Transformers movie, and the second Transformers movie is really racist and not a very good movie. So I'm glad that he got. Yes, it's
bad.
So I'm glad that he got a part as a really cool Batman character. But yeah, I left the theater pretty pleased. And I could have done maybe 4 hours. Give me 4 to 5. I really like the city of Gotham.
Yeah. Yeah, the only reason I just jumped to 6, of course it was an exaggeration, but I can play the game.
Yes.
I can spend that much time on the game. So just being in Gotham, give me more of that crap.
Okay.
We need the Bruce review.
First off, because I feel like I've come off as the anti-Batman person here, when it's like I love the character and all its messiness, all his just like his terribleness just draws me in. I can't look away. Like,
damn. Son.
But to the film, I too enjoyed the film. Maybe 2.5 hours would have been tighter for me.
Okay.
But I love just like the intro of Robert Pattinson's Batman, where he's we have all these criminals around the city just like looking around, looking in these like dark shadows. Oh my goodness. And then you get like, I give the score a lot of credit.
Oh,
just because when he's actually coming, you get the music. It's just like, especially that beginning where it's like boots really loud,
Oh, yeah.
score in the background. It's like, oh, I was about to curse, but yeah, I was like, oh, this is right. This is right.
I held off listening to the score until I saw the film.
I did as well.
Yeah, the scores tend to drop like a couple of days or maybe a week before. So I didn't. It was the same thing with Tenet. I didn't, because I want the film. Like, the reason I listen to scores when I get work done is because it takes me back to the moment in that film and how really great the film was. So like Dune, I waited. The Batman dropped. I was like, oh, as much as I want to hear it, I'm gonna wait. And I watched that movie. Loved it so much. I've been listening to the score ever since. I told Ado I almost watched a cam of it the following day. I was so and that's terrible. Who does that? Who does that? Yeah, I was But hey, when it released, it was 45 days away from it hitting HBO Max, so it was watch it a couple more times. Yeah.
I have a question for our panel before we get into the nitty gritty.
Okay.
Who here has rewatched the Snyder Cut since its release?
Rewatched. I don't think I've rewatched. Actually, I kind of do want to, but like, have you?
No.
No.
I have not. I think partially like I have gotten excited about the concept, and then even though I love the Snyder Cut, the 4-hour runtime has been a lot for me to just like be able to sit down and take out that block of time to do it again.
If I was on a show in which I was wearing a clip-on mic, this is when I would take it off and throw it, and then walk away from the set. Okay.
I'm sorry.
How many times have I watched the Snyder Cut? Is the question.
How many times?
Probably about 4.
God damn.
You put it on while you're getting work done. You look up and like, yeah, that was tight. Like,
fair.
Did you tweet for the movie? Did you want it?
No.
You didn't do any rallying for the Snyder Cut?
I did none at all. I felt like I was, by the end, I feel like I was on the opposite end where I was just like,
enough already.
If these people just go away, make it stop.
Did you rally for it?
I can't remember. I feel like I don't know if I tweeted for it, but I was definitely like on my toy Instagram with everyone being like, "Yeah, this looks great!" Like in the comments.
I am surrounded by infidels.
Please, sir.
No. I mean, yeah, I definitely just hearing his ideas for what he wanted to do with the film. I was like, and then it helped really clear up some of the crap that was in the original version. It was like, what is this family doing in here? Why are you what's happening? There was just so much that didn't make sense. But I also come from that, loving my 90s, loving my 80s comics and shows where I'm just happy to see it done sometimes.
Yeah, no,
like,
that makes sense.
On some real, I'm just happy to see it come to fruition. It's like, wow, these special effects are great. Wow, I can actually see like these robots fighting, and it doesn't look like a blur of just metal. Yeah, like it did in the first Transformers movie.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah. So sometimes that I'm happy with. I also try to make sure I don't. There's a what's the word I'm looking for? There's been a wave of people that tend to take comic book movies too seriously. They're comic book movies. Do you take the comics seriously? Why then? Because these are recognizable actors that you've seen get Oscars and many other. Why then are we applying all of this real world crap to a comic book movie? So I've been trying to take deep breaths when people are like, well, this doesn't make sense. Well, that doesn't make sense. Have you read a comic? A lot of that crap makes no sense. Like, it defies logic. And in many cases, it defies science. So it kind of...
Wait, a Terrigen mist that creates Inhumans is not science?
Well...
Are you telling me that there's not mutants in our universe? I swear I saw Professor X just the other day.
I just, so I suspend reality very, very quickly when I enter these situations, in these forms of entertainment. And I'm like, hey, give it to me. Serve up whatever it is you want to serve up, but make it good. I'm not tethering you to any books. I'm not tethering you to any previous films, any TV shows. You give me what you intend to give me, which is why I rallied for the Snyder Cut, because I wanted to see his actual vision and not what they did to it. You give me what you wanted to give me so I can accept that and then judge it based on that. So yeah, Snyder Cut, loved it. I don't know if there was a need for them to do the whole black and white version of it. What was it called? In silver, or Justice is Silver, Justice is Gray, or something like that.
Yes.
I've never watched that.
No, I
don't.
I was gonna say I don't think I've heard of that.
Yeah. Oh, it's on HBO Max. It's on full. It dropped like at the same time, if not maybe a week or so afterwards. Full black and white version of it. I'm sure there's some scenes that look stunning, but yeah.
On one hand, part of me is just like, part of me rolls my eyes, but the other part of me, just for like the artist advocate, is like, you know what? Go ahead, Zack Snyder. Get all 8 versions of this movie.
The oversaturated one.
Just
undersaturated.
Yeah, right.
The different versions.
I wish Zack Snyder would have gotten the creative freedom that Matt Reeves is experiencing right now.
Mhm.
With him being able to do Earth 2 and set the rules and be like, there will be no superpower beings. Like that's a huge pillar to set this early.
Mhm.
Like you're basically telling Warner Brothers, all these other characters that you're in love with, you're not going to see them here. Period. Kick rocks. I'm not giving you a version of Superman. I'm not giving you you're not getting the rest of the Justice League.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I wouldn't mind seeing a Green Arrow, but I feel like we probably won't.
Yeah. It could really wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that brings me back to, while we're still talking about the movie, first off, I do want to get your all's opinion on the Riddler here,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm kind of in the middle. Like on one hand, like because the Riddler's whole sort of like thesis for this is like, oh, Batman, he doesn't even. There's a moment a lot of people I think kind of went over their heads where it sounded like he had figured Batman out, but he actually
which
didn't.
is done very purposefully. That was awesome. That was amazing. We too were confused. We were like, oh no.
I give Matt Reeves a lot of credit for that shot because like, it kind of got me.
That was great.
But his whole thing is like he's trying to go after Bruce Wayne because Bruce Wayne was an orphan, but he was a billionaire orphan.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't. The Riddler was also an orphan, and you know what he didn't get? Any of the things Bruce Wayne got. In fact, the whole was it like an energy deal? Yeah, big government energy deal. Basically, when Thomas and Martha Wayne were killed, all that money ended up getting pillaged and stolen from within by like these mob figures and didn't go to the same orphanages that the Wayne family was responsible for funding, creating the Riddler. Just like Batman somehow creates his villains.
Hey. I think we're putting too much on the bat there. As far as, I mean, I feel like Gotham creates those villains, huh?
I feel like there's
who's responsible?
There's
one person, that one billionaire is responsible.
No, I feel directly.
I'm sorry, Thomas and Martha. Go ahead.
I feel like going into deeper history of Batman, if we want to take, for example, the Killing Joke as the Joker's origin, Batman did throw the Joker in the Ace Chemicals. That was Batman.
Fine.
I'll give Gotham Two-Face. That's a Gotham creation.
Scarecrow.
Arkham creation, yes. I would say Batman, though, intensifies his villain's hate.
Absolutely. Yes, he allows street thugs. He gives them a reason to rise to the occasion and become so much more than they should be. I absolutely agree with that. I will take a second to mention, I do appreciate the consistency in the Wayne's underfunding orphanages. This did happen. This did happen in Chris Nolan's Batman. They just be like, we'll set it up, and but then they always end up turning Wayne Manor into turn it into an orphanage.
Okay, but so you just said like things are a creation of Gotham, right? Okay, in this movie, what I liked about this movie, in addition to the other things, is that I feel like it's the most self-aware Batman movie I've seen
absolutely
in a while.
Absolutely.
Like they even point out, who basically runs the town? The Waynes and the Arkhams.
Yes.
Oh, let's see. This villain is a creation of Arkham. This villain is a creation of the lack of money in the orphanage. So who's responsible for the problems in Gotham? It seems to be these two families that run everything.
I just feel like that's a heavy statement to make, as if before these families, Gotham wasn't Gotham. You know what I'm saying? Like,
do we know the history of Gotham before the Waynes and the Arkhams, though?
According to Ra's al Ghul, it seems pretty bad. But...
Yeah, it's been bad for a while. We got, Bruce's parents didn't get killed in a sleepy town. Like, crime was rampant.
True.
In addition to that, I forgot the other point.
It happens.
It does.
I mean, when you have people that are, responsible.
I remember. Yeah, we're naming the Waynes. Yeah, we're naming the Arkhams. And like Race already established, the city is littered with corruption
Yes.
because of the Court of Owls.
Court of Owls, I'll give us
Those,
the court.
and that is a group of rich families that have been responsible for decades, if not a century, of corruption in Gotham. So we can't just put it on two families, and we can't just put it on the one that is funding a superhero. Okay, there are many others out there that aren't funding superheroes that could be doing their part.
Fair.
All right. Okay. Where are they?
Okay, so
And what they do? They fund supervillains. Huh? And while I'm on a rant here, I will say this: it's kind of sketchy, Bruce, that you will be attacking another Bruce.
Oh,
what is
wow.
this internal struggle that we're dealing with here? Huh? What is this?
This is getting intense.
Okay,
Yeah.
see, we're
It's
gonna
Bruce
have to
on Bruce hate.
we're gonna have to pull this out because one, I feel like it's important for me to defend the integrity of my name.
Ooh.
Two, let's talk about Batman some more. Because you brought up the Nolan movies, we brought up the Court of Owls,
Some comic book references.
brought up the comic book. So let's talk about the character as a whole, and let's really get into this whole this theory of mine that still I feel like checks out here. We haven't really just because you're like, well, Batman is just a part of the problem. He's not the whole problem. Okay. Thank you. Donald Trump had parents too.
Wow. Wow.
Ding, 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 ding.
But no. Okay.
Yeah.
First off, Batman, let's just be real. Again, I've said I think Batman is an enduring, engaging character. He inspires in us that spirit of wanting to right the wrongs when no one else will. I get that. It's very, he's brooding and stuff, and we all kind of like
Have those moments.
we have those moments. We don't necessarily go to therapy as much as we should.
Real.
Batman doesn't ever, which again I feel like is a big issue here that could have solved a lot of things, but oh well. Wouldn't make for great movies. That said, we also have to look at the things we don't even question with Batman. Like creating villains, as we've all established here, is one thing, but also he takes on child soldiers just repeatedly.
You got there so quick.
Robin,
We jumped.
the next Robin.
I thought
The
I
next
had
next
some
Robin.
time. I thought
Oh,
I had
actually,
some time.
no. Jason Todd, the second Robin.
Ooh.
Not just what happens to that child soldier. Oh, he's
Dead.
murdered by one of Batman's villains,
Oh.
and that a time to stop and reflect and be like, yo, maybe this is a bad idea. Nah.
There's a lot.
Let me get another
honestly.
Robin. Let me get a Batgirl too.
Spiral.
Oh, and why don't I
Spoiler,
have?
excuse me.
Why don't I have another son with my villain's daughter?
Well, we got to be careful there because Batman definitely was drugged by Talia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Yeah, it was involuntary.
Yeah.
Damien is the boss, though.
But Damien, why don't I bring him into this too? Because
He did.
I'll give him credit. He could have just done it with random children, but he was like, nah, I'm gonna bring my own blood into this too. I don't discriminate. So
He could have taken another
good
child
on
in.
Batman there for really just again continuously employing child soldiers, scouting child soldiers, grooming child soldiers, and us all just being like, this is great. This is wonderful. Why would we ever question this? This seems like a great guy.
You know what? I had no defense for that. Listen, okay? I have no defense for that. I'm not saying, okay, is Batman the solution? No. Is he fun? Hell yeah. Bruce is actually the solution. A billionaire with the right, head on his shoulders, which obviously he has some trauma he needs to work through because he doesn't have the right head on his shoulders. However, this has been addressed in both films, in both series. There was a scene in The Dark Knight. Which one had Bane?
The Dark Knight Rises.
Dark Knight Rises, where after Batman does the chase with him, he gets back to the Batcave, and Alfred is saying, way to reemerge and be out there in the public again, and the news cameras got you. And if you would have just given the police the resources and information you had, he wouldn't have gotten away. And his immediate response was, they don't know what to do with it. Like, who better than me to do this? And yeah, that's not the way to go about it. I've never been pro police. However, in this particular situation, yeah, that
I imagine in the city of Gotham, if you have like a Bane running around, there's not, again, very anti-police personally, but like if we're in Gotham, I can't do anything about Bane.
Also, Gotham is notoriously one of the most corrupt police departments.
We need to acknowledge that the corrupt in this movie. I think the Batman represents Gotham police really well because even in the scene where they arrest Falcone, there's probably a good amount of people who were at the door of the Iceberg Lounge who were on Falcone's payroll.
Oh, heck yeah!
They just wanted to side with Gordon to make it look good, but
I'll give Batman credit in the Batman where at the end of the film he realizes, oh wow, I've just been going out here just rawly dealing with my anger issues again on mostly poor henchmen just trying to get by, because the city is robbed of its economic power by this mob that Thomas Wayne empowered. But whatever. And then he finally is like, you know what? Here's this montage of me actually like helping people in a way that doesn't involve me just punching out people. And that was beautiful. That was really touching. That was great.
I'm glad you caught that.
Yeah. But let me bring it back to because in my
we were so close.
When you're talking about the construct of Batman, because I love that we brought up the Nolan movies here, because when we talk about just one with the Nolan movies, you also had that story about how Zoe Kravitz tried to be Catwoman.
I heard about that.
Yeah, and then apparently they said
urban.
Yeah,
who was the casting director there? Who was the casting director that turned down Zoe Kravitz to be Catwoman?
I will say though, when I look at the Nolan movies, especially as a trilogy of allegories of the white man, let's start with Batman Begins, just real quick. Okay. Bruce Wayne voluntarily goes to an Asian country to get himself locked up in prison to be a better criminal, which is very, very white. And then connects with this group to study actual martial arts and trickery and whatnot, and brings it back to America to save Gotham.
Right.
I wonder what that sounds like. That okay. Then we go to the Dark Knight, which is just the war on terror with the Joker. And how does Batman solve it? Well, why don't I break all the spying laws and spy on all of Gotham because we need to. But don't worry, Fox, I will give you the key so that you, black man, can, make the right decision. So, hey, cool on that. And then we get to the Dark Knight Rises where, we talk about Bane running around the city.
This is rough.
But
this is rough to listen to.
What was Bane's thing? Gotham. The city is yours. Like, let's take it back from all the wealthy who have corrupted and pillaged your city. And, it's not surprising that a lot of people were with it. It didn't matter. He snapped the guy's neck in front of everyone on a football field, and yet...
Don't positively platform Bane.
And then... Don't positively platform Bane. And yet... Like, he murdered someone in a live football game in front of everyone, and yet when he was like, Gotham, take back your city, you know what people were like? Yeah, he has a point.
Well, at first they were stricken with horror at the game. It wasn't like it was an immediate flip, like, all right, vote Bane, But after the city started eating itself, Like, are you forgetting that? Things went totally awry. He let people out of Blackgate. It was going down in the town.
I'm not saying Bane was,
Killmonger. You're almost making him.
Oh,
you're
that,
almost.
that.
You're
Hey
almost
there,
making him
hey
Killmonger.
there, sir. All I'm saying is a lot of people seem very happy, throwing stuff out of the hotel room, kicking people to the curb.
Now, what does that say about the citizens of Gotham? Less about Bane, more about the citizens
That
of Gotham.
says that Gotham has been starved by the corruption
Financially.
that starts with, wait for it, the Wayne family.
Wow.
I think there's a lot. I think this movie the Batman does a really good job at also making Bruce seem very ignorant as well.
As far as like learning. Yeah.
I think,
which is good.
I think we're taking good steps in the right direction. Yeah. Because this is the first time in a while. I think we've gotten very used to Batman kind of being the perfect superhero. Like, I think a lot of people make fun of Superman because it's like, Superman can do anything. Like, Superman's like God. He's the Boy Scout. But Batman has kind of become the perfect superhero because he's dark. Sometimes he loses, but very occasionally. And if he does lose, then he bounces back. And not a lot of people take the opportunity to be like, what's wrong with Batman? Like, where is he mentally? Why is Batman, like, what is he seeing? And this is the first film I think I've ever seen to be like, hey, Bruce Wayne, you kind of don't know a lot about the streets of Gotham. You don't interact with people in the city. So because of that, you don't know these little nuances. Like, you could have known about Falcone killing or Falcone, who did he kill? His parents. The reporter. No, Falcone killed the reporter and his parents. And he could have probably found out about that pretty easily.
Yeah. Someone pointed out, I love, again, that this is year 2. So, he's still developing his skills across the board. And someone pointed out that if he'd taken a perspective, like, look at the photos that the Riddler had produced earlier on, he would have been able to realize that he'd been across the street the entire time from the club. Like, Batman, Justice League Batman would have, that's something you do in the video game. Like, he would have been got that. So it's very interesting to show that, and then also to show the links to his family and corruption in the city in the first film. Period. Like, it wasn't something that was discovered later on. Like, Matt Reeves attacked that from the beginning. No, there's a reason. Like, Alfred has been hiding certain things from you. There's a reason why, you are intimately tied to what the city has become. In some ways advertently, some ways inadvertently, but regardless of the fact, lockstep. Yeah. I think it was really, really well done.
I'd argue Matt Reeves actually not just made my point, but, like, think about it. The Riddler is the main villain, right?
Yes.
And the Riddler was effectively thinking, one, that all this time they were partnering together, which was an interesting thing. And the one moment in the film where I'm like, this Riddler tantrum is a little weird. But
he was like, no. Like, what do you mean, bro?
Yeah, I kind of got a little Darth Vader Revenge of the Sith. But I digress. But the Riddler is copying Batman, and the Riddler's followers, they're not just like, they're kind of copying the Riddler, but they're copying Batman because they're literally like, I am vengeance.
Yes.
It's like, Again, I'll give you, Batman is part of the problem.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. He's not responsible for all the problems. But when you're out here talking about, I am the shadows, having people just looking around in random places.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're like, I am vengeance.
That's right.
And then
more of that.
And then the people terrorizing the city are like, I am vengeance. 1 + 1, I feel like it equals 2 at that point.
I mean, it's not a perfect plan,
Really?
It's a work. His strategy's a work in progress,
He's changing his ways.
And by the end of the movie, what happens? He realizes vengeance isn't the way to go.
Yeah, but also because we know where this is going, and I would like to again. He's like, vengeance isn't the way to go, but he is on the path. We have not gotten to the child soldiers yet. That is coming.
What if Matt Reeves doesn't give us the child soldiers the way that we've traditionally seen them? Is there a way to give us the sidekicks in a way that works?
They all have to be 18.
No, Nolan tried that.
Yeah.
Except he's like, oh, and your middle name is Robin. The end. Like,
no one like that? You guys didn't like that?
I love Joseph Gordon-Levitt, but he's not my Dick Grayson.
Literally, he's not.
He's not.
Fine.
I feel like
he said literally he's not.
You can do. I think Robert Pattinson spoke on it that he wants to do a Robin and have him be a 13-year-old child and have it be like, hey, Bruce, this is kind of not cool to take in a kid and put him into this world and then do it again and again and again. I think Matt Reeves recognizes that Bruce Wayne is kind of a problem.
Yes. I agree. I want him to, I said we weren't going to talk about Titans, so it kind of explores this is all I'll say. But yes, I want them to do this. I want them to take on the child soldiers. Take on one of your child soldiers being your buddy, Gordon's daughter. I don't know, take it to where they took the Killing Joke, except with some yeah, right.
That's a big one.
That's a big one. Yeah.
So we'll just take it all the way there to why Bruce is a problem. Because again, the character it's an engaging character. It's fascinating, and I repeat my original thesis. If you want to understand the construct of the white man in America, it's Bruce Wayne. I can compete with all these superheroes if I just have enough money and I train all day. I can fight with Superman and all this because my super brain power as the billionaire white man will take me wherever I want to go.
Well, I mean,
perseverance
we've seen the results, right? Kryptonite Mist. There's some things, There's some things he's done. Come on.
He's done some things. He's done some things, but Batman also, like, we can even go into the deepest forms of, like, one of my favorite Batman comics, The Dark Knight Returns. The ego you have to be able to sit in front of the whole world and say, I'm about to fight Superman, and fake a heart attack and then go under, like, we got to understand, like, I feel like Superman has to acknowledge at a certain point, he's like, I am the closest these people have seen to God.
Yeah.
So, like, I have to contain myself and, like, understand not to let my ego go to my head, because if he does, then we get injustice.
Yeah,
then we see what happens. Yeah. With Bruce Wayne, because he has the money that he does, and he was like, I'm going to train, I'm going to get there, his ego is a little bit through the roof.
Completely unchecked. There's nothing he won't do to get to whatever solution he's devised. There's zero. Whereas, you have characters like Superman, and they touched on it. They did a really good job of touching on it in the What If series, with the fight between Captain Marvel and Thor. And they were like, some girl at S.H.I.E.L.D., I can't remember her name, but she was like, just punch a hole through him. Like, what are you doing? Like, just punch his head off. And Carol was like, I have to restrict my punches because I could fracture the planet. Like, you know what I'm saying? So there's a level of restraint that these OP heroes have to move with. And Superman is one of them. And Batman knows he can take advantage of that. This guy will not punch me and kill me. He will not. Therefore, because I know he's pulling his punches, I can do a bunch of sneaky crap that will bring him down to my level, and I won't pull it. Because I mean, Batman vs Superman, he had full intentions on killing him.
He did.
Period.
He did.
Period. That whole time, Clark is pulling his punches because I'm not gonna kill you, and he's like, it doesn't matter. Kryptonite miss, Kryptonite spear, go time. Let's do it. So, it's interesting to watch him go to these extreme lengths to exercise what he considers justice, but he creates this revolving door for all of his villains, and they become like they all go to jail together. They're all in Arkham together. They're all devising. They come up with new plans. They exchange technology, and they come back out. Like, there isn't a single part of us that views Arkham as a secure facility.
Hell no.
Period. Yeah.
The legacy of the Arkham family, the legacy of the Wayne family, creating a revolving door of escalating crime and despair.
I don't think that's what I said. I feel like you're twisting my words, baby. You're using a lot of the same words.
That was a pretty good twist.
I feel like I'm just providing analysis and connecting the dots here because, you know, I'm a systems thinker.
Okay. Okay.
I almost forgot we actually do have a camera on 8.0 because that turned through.
Okay. All right.
I'm just saying.
I know you're making a point.
I see systems. I see legacies. I see people repeating the sins of his parents.
Yeah.
And also, you know, someone who's willing, whether he knows these people or not, who will one day be his friends, that he's willing to harm them in the most excruciating ways possible. Which, again, what a guy. What a guy.
Are we talking about Justice League takedowns? Yeah. Is that what you're alluding to?
Yeah. I was actually just going to be talking about really more so just like Justice League, like the cartoon. But
yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
the takedowns he had, the strategies he had for every single one of them.
Yeah. I mean, and don't get me wrong. I understand the contingency plan.
You gotta have.
I understand, you know, the whole like Karis one. I got a battle rap for everyone on the top 10 mentality. Right. I get it. But like, there's nothing playful about it.
You know, yeah.
This is a person with, again, Bruce Wayne doesn't go to therapy. At any moment, his unchecked trauma and anger issues can explode, and often do. And while I guess it's better when they do on like Superman than, you know, again, most of the people he's just taking out with just random people. Think about the people in The Dark Knight Rises. Think about the children who are like, I'm taking work in the sewers because there's no work anywhere. That's who he was just smacking around a lot of those times. We just, you know, they built them up in the movie, but let's be real. In that last final scene when he's just like, whoosh, 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 and then finally he's whooshed through a bunch of people and he sees Bane and like, I'm here again, but I've learned my lesson. Who's he really punching? Children of the orphanage.
Children of the orphanage.
Punching orphan children.
He is beating down orphans just all day. I said it. Little orphan Dick, little orphan
all of
Jason,
Oliver, Jason, Tim.
No, I mean you're right.
Damien.
Well, Damien.
No, Damien is his child.
Yeah. No, like I said, I gave him credit for
could Bruce Wayne be a larger, more substantial part of the solution? Yes.
What if he got more sleep? How would that
Truthfully.
affect his decision making?
Think
about that.
What if like Bruce actually went on beneficial dates with people? Like, have we acknowledged as well that like his one like love interest for years has been not only one of his villains, but like someone who he like barely, he never tells the truth to her. He knows exactly who she is, but she doesn't know anything about him.
He reveals himself.
Think about all his love interests. I was watching Mask of the Phantasm the other day. Oh, so if it's not Catwoman, if it's not Talia al Ghul,
Right.
It's another murderer.
People for years have been wanting Batman and Wonder Woman to be in a relationship together, but they won't do it because it would be too healthy. They were both gross people.
Shout out to Wonder Woman for just being classy about like, look, I can't reveal to the world that this is never going to happen because I love myself too much. But
Right.
we all know that's
self-love.
Wonder Woman knows who he is.
Yes,
They all know who he is. The problem.
What does Superman and Batman do when they hang out? Like instead of like saving people,
You think they hang out?
they allude to it in like every series.
I don't know. I haven't read too many World's Finest comics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would like to acknowledge, I think, another incredible portrayal of Batman's negative effect. For those of us who have watched Young Justice, I think there's a scene where Dick Grayson Robin is in a therapy session with Black Canary, where he explains that he found himself treating a lot of situations as Bruce Wayne had taught him, and he grew to hate himself. And that was the starting point of where he decided that he could not be like Batman. He had to be something else. And he chose to become Nightwing, which Nightwing is a much tamer, more understanding character.
Better communicator.
I would say we've seen him in multiple long-running healthy relationships. He's been with Starfire. He's been with Barbara.
Real hero of polyamory, I must say.
Yes. Truthfully.
Shout out to Nightwing.
Shout out to Nightwing. I very much so love Nightwing. He's one of my favorite heroes.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is we'd have no Nightwing. You know where I'm going without Batman.
Go on. Go on.
That's what I'm hearing.
We'll give you that, but is that a positive?
Okay.
What do you know? One of the child soldiers panned out. Huh?
I'd just like to repeat that sentence real quick. What do you know? One of the child soldiers panned out.
All right, fine.
It
sounds bad when you say it.
Really?
It didn't really sound that bad when I said it.
I feel like if I'm just
I think
can you just put these words in post on the screen? Judge for yourself, audience. Does this sound good to you?
Can we like also acknowledge that every child soldier has like had their fair share of trauma? Like Barbara got shot, Jason got killed, came back through the Lazarus pit, which is shown that makes you crazy.
Yeah. Then
becomes a villain, then reluctantly becomes a hero again. Tim is like the only one who makes it through, but then Tim's parents get killed. And then he's forced to get adopted by Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
And then Damian is Damian Wayne. He's the daughter or the son of the daughter of the demon and Batman. Like,
Damian is my absolute favorite. Damian is amazing. The way he talks to his father, it's just like, he cuts him no slack. Zero slack at all times. Damian's great.
Oh. Even what's his name from Batman Beyond? Was it Terry McGinnis? Yeah, Terry McGinnis. I'm just saying, the man is a prolific groomer of children.
Oh, no.
The fact that Amanda Waller felt the need to have a Batman so badly that she put Bruce Wayne's DNA in Terry McGinnis's father. That is canon, by the way. That is deeply canon.
Yeah.
Shows that Batman is kind of a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, like, Metropolis, at least, like, you look at Metropolis, I'll even give Star City. Like, Metropolis, Star City, like, they have their villains.
Yeah.
But at least, like, everyone's at least chilling most of the time. Like, it seems like things are chilling. Like, it's enough to the point that like everyone can have jobs away from like their superhero.
Yeah. Gotham has been thrown to the wolves, I think, at a federal level. Like,
everyone just gave up.
Yeah, everyone just gave up on that city. Period.
And like I feel like we've seen a difference. Like Lex Luthor has gone to jail for long periods of time to the point where Superman is just fighting like Toy Man for a while.
Yeah.
But like when was the last time like Joker was in jail for more than like a year? Or like the Riddler.
Any of them. Any of them. No one does long stints.
Just like to point out, because I'm gonna go a little tinfoil hat here.
All right.
Oh, you said throwing Gotham to the wolves, and I mean, think about it. Wayne Enterprises gets a lot of this, these military toys, this gear through defense contracts. What if Gotham is just, it's just a testing ground? It's defense contractors just like, you know what, we gotta see this stuff in action. So, we're just gonna have a vigilante running around the streets with the villains that would supposedly justify something like this. And if we just keep letting them out, and again, how you need some kind of organization, you need some power and some money and some legacy, and you need some like centralized institutions to really make this work. Like, I don't know, prisons and mental asylums and orphanages. And yeah, but who's responsible for that?
I am not gonna lie. I would tune in for that TV show. That's pretty dope. I like that theory. I like that fan theory. I think you should develop it even further.
I appreciate the compliment.
Yeah.
To just spin away from
the actual.
I feel like we've like, Ado, have I not brought you over to my side after all this?
I feel like I was with you from the get. Like, I love Batman. I'm a proud Batmaner. I'm proud to be on the side of, hey, like, Batman can solve any crime. He can do anything.
It's true.
But I can fully acknowledge, especially after watching The Batman, Bruce Wayne is kind of ignorant and kind of like put himself in a lot of positions. Like, he hasn't gone outside in a while.
Yeah.
Like,
he doesn't know what daytime looks like.
Yeah.
Well, plot twist. We were always aligned. There was never a time, like, in all seriousness. No. He's a billionaire in an under-resourced city. He's not a millionaire. He's a billionaire in an under-resourced city. Yeah. Sure. We just, in what we saw in Matt Reeves, the Batman, Alfred saying, you need to spend some daytime hours actually running your company, your billion-dollar legacy company. No, I belong to the night. Nah, that's probably not the best move at this point. I'm pretty sure you backing the right politicians, councilmen and women, aldermen, like, there's things you could do. And again, we did see that in The Dark Knight with him wanting to retire and back Harvey. So there are opportunities here where some of these writers and directors are like, even Bruce does see, and that was a much older Bruce too. Bruce does see that he doesn't really want to be doing this. He doesn't really want to do this mess full time. But this younger Bruce of course he hasn't gotten there yet.
Right.
But I mean, just the fact that, like you were saying, does he go outside? Does he have healthy relationships? Does he even know what, it looks like to be a billionaire playboy? Nope, not yet. Not at all. Not at all. That's really the James Bond side to this for him. Like, there's so many things that he can do. So many. Imagine employing those exact same strategies in the daytime with all of the money possible. Yeah, he could turn Gotham around in 5 years. Using that same technology, that the sonar spying technology, being able to pinpoint some of these criminal assets and help the cops. I've just said help the cops, but help the cops. Well, help Gordon at least, because we have this corruption all through it. there are so many different things he could be doing. Yeah.
He is
Yeah. There's never been that confusion for me.
historically like Bruce Wayne doesn't go to therapy.
No.
He has a very, very severe deficiency in vitamin D from just not going outside. He is sleep deprived. I'm just saying there are a number of factors here, and again, his relationships are not healthy. There are a number of factors in which his decision making could be more clear. Could be, more helpful to Gotham. But since we've all come back and it's my show, I would just like to close this with, everyone's always wondering, like, okay, so this new Batman movie's come out. Where does it rank? Right? So I feel like a lot of us, we just kind of like, it's the Nolan movies and then some form of it.
Yeah.
So where does the Batman fit? Let's start with you, Ambush.
It's tough because without seeing what happened with Keaton's Batman and the world that was created there in those first two, it's hard to imagine Nolan being able to do what he could do. In my head, the Christopher Nolan series has always the best to me. That's just where I am. I've seen people put the Batman at number 2, right behind the Dark Knight. I wouldn't. I would probably put it number 3. I still hold the Dark Knight and Rises. Was that Returns and Rises? I still put those two. Those still hold my top 2 spots. And then the Batman would probably be 3rd or 4th behind one of the Keaton Batman, because there was some things that happened in those first 2 Batman movies that were just like, oh, you made it real. Like this is real. This is amazing. And it was a huge turning point for Keaton too, because he was fresh off of Beetlejuice for us. So it was like, you got this guy playing Batman? That's not gonna work. And he knocked it out the park. He really did. If George Clooney or Val Kilmer's Batman is on either one of you guys' lists, I will bid you adieu early. Because what?
Hold that thought. Ado?
So obviously number 1, Joel Schumacher. Number 2, George Clooney. Number 3, no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I think number 1, I'm going to right now say my favorite is Dark Knight. I think just historically, I saw it like really late. The Dark Knight was the first Batman movie I was afraid to watch because of like what had happened to Heath Ledger and then seeing the performance, and then like in getting to watch it, I was like, whoa, this is life changing. So I think The Dark Knight is my favorite. I might put the Batman next. I really like the portrayal of a lot of the characters, and I think the acknowledgement of Bruce Wayne's just like, of how Bruce Wayne is, the flaws behind Bruce Wayne is refreshing, because I feel like we haven't got it in the way that the movie does it here. Like, he's kind of not as smart as he pretends to be. And this is the first time I think I've seen it in a very long time that it's portrayed like this. And my number 3 favorite Batman movie is Under the Red Hood, the animated film. I'm bringing in the animations because
I'm not mad at that.
I just think that it's one of my favorite tellings of the Jason Todd story and what it meant for Jason to die and then come back and deal with the Joker.
Yeah.
That's solid. That's solid.
All right.
So, number 1, of course, it's gotta be Batman and Robin for, Arnold's amazing portrayal of Mr. Freeze.
Mic off.
The Bane portrayal,
really
incredible.
Really?
Like,
the Burger King Batman?
Shut his
do,
bat
do,
nipples.
Do you remember just all those puns? Like, literally, they never end.
Ice to meet you.
Chill.
Chill.
so bad.
We need bat nipples back for real.
No, we don't.
Yes,
We've never
do.
needed them in the first place.
Oh man,
There's no place for bat nipples.
I just watched not the movie, but like this bad movie roast of Batman and Robin. They had to do like 2 parts, and I'm still waiting on part 2.
It's that good.
Oh my god! Like even just from the beginning, where they, I guess they did this in Batman Forever too, but where they just do all the close-ups of like bat genitals. It's like, here are the nipples. Here's the ass. Here's bat crotch, and they even make the ass jiggle in the suit.
No.
So
Who decided
so
that?
good. It's
Who
so
said
good.
we needed that?
Oh man. But okay, in all seriousness though, I think I have the Batman. I think I have it 4 behind all of the Nolan movies. I remember watching Keaton growing up. I remember being kind of like that last scene with Jack Nicholson's Joker falling off and he's like, ah!
Mm-hmm.
I remember watching this like a little kid and being low-key haunted for a while. But like the thing with the Batman is, and I'm not sure why I'm penalizing it for this, because in theory it's a good thing that it's self-aware, but also I think part of the reason I come to Batman movies sometimes is for the lack of self-awareness, which is where the Nolan movies, they really just like, they're just unrelenting. Like,
does the self-awareness make it like self-defeating for you? Like, why are we even still making these type of films if we're gonna move forward with the understanding that this guy is not actually good for us?
see, here's the thing. It might age better, so I want to give time, but in this moment, if I'm just like, the Batman or the Dark Knight Rises, like, ooh, that just, again, unrequited, just white billionaire nonsense. Like, ooh, that's what I came for. That's what I came for. Like,
that's what I signed up for.
It's like Game of Thrones. Like, I did not come here for logic and things tying together, but I make space because there's one, I'm gonna watch the Batman again. 2, they're gonna, I feel like we've had a long discussion, and I just want to shout out the Penguin in the Batman, because like, I'm not sure.
Colin killed that.
Yeah, I didn't like. I don't know if they made like a big thing about it in the casting before, but like when I found out watching a review later, it's like that was Colin Farrell. I was like,
what? Right. Where?
Give this man, or give the production team whatever they gave. Whatever they gave the Suicide Squad for an Oscar, give that to this movie for Colin Farrell.
Yes.
But at the moment on this March of 2022, it's still the Nolan movies. It's still the Dark Knight.
Yeah, man.
Dark Knight Rises or Batman? Probably Dark Knight Rises, just because I remember when that came out, and I remember being around Portland and just a lot of people in like the activist space basically becoming Bane the same way, like, same way like rappers took, like the same way, MF Doom was like this alter ego. Right. There was a lot of people doing that with Bane at that time. It's hard to forget that, both for good reasons and also, again, because it's Portland, for very obnoxious white reasons.
Oh my god!
Very, very, very obnoxious.
I'm glad I missed that era.
Yeah.
Y'all trying to ruin Bane for me.
It would have. Yeah, and with that, just like to again close this out with, now that we all agree that Batman is just an unforgivable fascist, let's keep watching these films.
Yeah.
See y'all for the Batman too.